Righty, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairymuppet. Welcome back to the base, and as you can see, I've been expanding a little bit off camera. I showed you the iron smelting setup. I set up an identical setup, with setup 3 times in that sentence, now 4 times, for copper. So I've just got a nice little belt going down here onto the copper setup. 10 mines there. Copper is one of those things that you need a decent amount of early game, and later game it starts to fall off, but it's still pretty extreme. It's basically for circuits. So if we go down to our circuits, we can see that this guy needs 1.5 copper per basic circuit board, and as we use a ton of these, we are going to need a ton of copper. So we've got the copper now, and actually the first thing we're going to do this series episode is going to be the power. So we got 5 of these little guys. They got 900 kilowatts each. That gives us 4.5 megawatts. We're already using 2.6 with just this tiny little mining setup. So I'm going to take a whole bunch of iron and we're going to go over there. And if you remember, the ratio of the steam engines to boilers is 10 boilers for 20 steam engines, and 1 offshore pump can support all of that stuff. But we only set up 5 steam engines because we couldn't be bothered crafting the rest of them. So now we're going to go in and we're going to do this and pop them open, get a little bit more energy. And research as well. I researched optics, so that's good. Turrets, we don't have any bots to fight. Military, we don't have any bots to fight. Although it is nice to have a submachine gun for destroying stuff. Greenhouse, we absolutely need that. We want a replenishable amount of wood long term, and the greenhouse is the way to get it. So let's go ahead, put those down there. We could do some fancy way where we put these side by side and pipe them in from the same boilers, but I'm just going to do them long ways because it's really fine. And I don't think there's anything in this direction that we necessarily care about not paving over. It doesn't seem to be. I mean, so we put a row of steam engine columns going down here, and by the time we get up to about 8 or so steam engine columns, we will be at the point where there is much better power sources out there for us to use, like solar, so we probably won't need much more than that. Let's just have a patient little wait for the last 5 steam engines to come out here. And greenhouse, let's check. 218 iron, 114 copper. That is a pretty decent amount for the research that we're going to need. Well, we're not really going to top it up because as soon as we up the power, we're going to go over and start building stuff out of the actual smelting arrays, and we can easily build a bunch of laboratories and some actual assemblers to build that stuff automatically from the main bus. So there we go. Last bit of power there. And now you can see that we're still using 2.3 megawatts, but our production has gone all the way down. And this is, we're still doing the same amount of stuff, but this is an indicator of how much power we could have if we really needed it to. So if the green bar is very low, it means you've got a ton of extra power to use. If this green bar is very high, it means you don't have a lot of extra power to sort of play around with. So right now, this is an absolutely awesome little graph, but eventually 20 times 0.9 is 18. So we got 18 megawatts to play around with. We will get up to that fairly decently quick. Well, maybe not that quick, but it will get there. So we'll just have to go down and start duplicating those steam columns, which should be beautiful. We should be able to support up to like 100 megawatts just off the basic steam. Although at that point, the coal supply might start getting a little bit funny. So we'll have to see. Now, what we are going to do here, now that we have these awesome complements, is we're going to do a little bit of forward planning. Let's get some more iron. Let's start crafting a crap load of belts because, excuse me, this is going to be our main base. We are not going to do what I do a fair bit when playing this game. Not so much recently, but a fair bit. We're just building a base and then realizing it's not big enough and making another one. So we are definitely going to be trying to make this base a little bit decently big right at the start. So let's go over and have a little bit of a quick scout in this direction where we think our main bus is going to go. If there is any ore in the direction of our main bus, then we're just going to, I don't know, build over it, mine over it, that sort of thing. So let's go across, see what we got here. Little bit of stone. I'm really not worried about building over stone because who gives a crap? And it doesn't seem to be much else. So we're just going to keep moving in this direction with our main belts and with our main bus. And if you haven't seen a main bus before, it's basically just like a continuous line of all the resources side by side. And whenever you ever build anything, you just kind of pull off the belts wherever you need it. And you can build pretty much everything you need in your entire factory off a single main bus because every single resource is on that main bus. So it's kind of easier to show you than it is to tell you. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you right now. So we're going to have this iron and we're going to have a bunch more iron up there. Eventually we're going to get to probably about I'd say four iron belts, and we're going to pull this out a decent way to allow for things to be expanded. So when we eventually get up to faster belts, we're going to want this smelting array to be a lot bigger and a lot longer. So we're going to make room for it now, and basically up to about here is where we're going to allow space for the smelting. That may seem, actually that probably is a bit too big, so let's cut that big. If you've played Factorio, you're probably saying, oh, he's not leaving enough space. And if you haven't played Factorio, you're probably like, this guy is crazy. That's a stupid amount of space. But that is how it works in this game. You just overdo everything because you can. So anyway, let's keep this belt going. And I'm going to start the actual main factory, the actual building stuff, just past this stone deposit. So we don't even have to worry about covering over it because we're going to build past it. So this right about here is where we're planning to actually have the proper main factory start. So we'll leave a gap of 2 belts here, and this will be where copper goes down. So let's pull this belt back. Let's keep building these guys. Research is finished, I know, but yes. And of course, one thing I was thinking of before this video, which we definitely are going to have to deal with, is the fact that it's usually in a normal vanilla game, you get iron, you get copper, and you go to work. We can't do that this game. We have to get iron and get copper and then get all the other crap that we need early on. Tin and lead, basically. This little solder plate kind of says it all. We need tin and we need lead. And we need those to be on the bus as well. So let's... Oh my god, these belts. These belts... I know I'm producing too many belts and doing things too long, but trust me, in the long term, it is all going to be worth it. But I probably should have pre-produced these guys. I'm going to ignore that for now. I'll just let the belts craft in the background, and it's all good. So for now, we need to start thinking about what do we got here. So that's a nice bit of tin ore there. I went way too far on this belt, didn't I? I went way too far, but that's fine. I mean, belts, it's all good. So what do we got? We got tin, we got iron, stone, iron. So tin is good. What we might do is just bring the tin over, have a little smelting area there. I went way too far on this. Okay, I'm going to stop saying that. So we got tin coming down here. We'll get this little bit of lead. Actually here, that's only 24k. I don't know where else there is lead, actually. Let's have a bit of a look around here. Iron, iron, tin, stone, 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 tin. Yeah, you do use lead surprisingly quickly. There's a little bit of lead. Oh, where is all my lead gone? I do not know. We might have to get that off the map somewhere. That's going to be a bit nuts. The good thing about long reach, though, is I can do this. Just got to make sure not to drag my mouse too far up or down because that is going to do stuff like that, where the mouse drags it off. Anyway, let's go here. Technically, I should be pushing it out from this direction and then folding it up, but I can't be bothered. I will change it later on when I have bots and I can move this entire belt in 2 seconds. But for now, it's going to take me like 2 minutes to ship that entire thing down, so screw it, I ain't doing it. So now, let's go ahead and let's set some stuff up nice and early. Let's set a nice little lab array up and an assembly machine array up to produce science and get that sort of stuff sorted out. So I think we can do that. That'll be completely automated, and then from then on, that'll be fine. So we've got iron here, we've got copper there. That'll be coming down any second, any minute. It's a long way to come down. So anyway, that's fine. We're going to start building off the top of the base here. We kind of need a balancer here, but that balancer is going to take forever as well. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for one balancer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for another. And I need 4 of those because they build 2 each. In case you're wondering, a balancer is basically going to split this belt evenly over these 4 belts. I don't really need it right now because it's one belt, but I like to plan for the future. So that is what we're going to do. And we're going to kind of start there. We're going to start these guys off all at the same sort of level. Oh, I really need to get this stuff automated. I really, really, really do. I'm sorry, this is just it's gonna drag a little bit at the start because it's gonna take so long. We do have crafting speed research for 50 science packs. I get 20% faster crafting speed, which, to be honest, there's definitely more interesting stuff I could be doing early on. Filter inserter. Hello, I want you very, very much. I'm not going to be able to build any because these basic electronic boards are a pain in the ass. They're the ones that you need tin and lead for. So absolute pain in the ass. This guy needs basic electronic boards as well. I love the loaders, man. There's basically, you know how you get an inserter and it just picks stuff up and puts stuff off? Well, the loader, you just shoe the belt directly into there, and it basically does the same thing as an inserter anyway, so it's absolutely brilliant. Not in the vanilla game, but to be honest, if it was in the vanilla game, the game would probably be broken, because that's how awesome it is. What do we want? Water bore. I don't know, I think that's a mod. Something like that. Generates water, air compressors. I don't know. Alloy processing, bronze. Let's just go for long inserters. I'm pretty sure I need long inserters, so let's just get it. Okay, so this goes there. Damn, these things are so slow. Come on, give me one more. We kind of only need the one for iron because copper is already on the topmost belt, so if I balance it later, that's fine. So we're going to cancel everybody up to go away, up to these guys, which we need. And you will see the magic in just a second. So we do this guy there and this guy there. And you can see, so the way it works is, I won't explain it too much because it's kind of confusing, but the belts go in, they get split over to these 2 sections, and then this side gets split into these 2 sections, which both go in the middle. And this side gets split over here, which both go to the sides. And then the middle and the sides get sort of balanced out into these 4 lanes. And it really is beautiful because it means that if you put like a full belt here, you're going to get a quarter belt on each one of these. So it's all completely evenly distributed down the line. So let's go and build a bunch more of these. As I said, the copper I am going to do later because it's just such a pain in the ass to do right now. So we're going to branch that off there. As you can see, these undergrounds only go for a length of 4, no longer. Once we get faster belts later on, the undergrounds will go for longer, but for now, that's the only distance they go for. So that's fine. So we're going to get the copper off here. like so, and then we are going to figure out how to get red signs in a more automated sort of way. So let's go ahead and do some maths here, because maths is fun and you need to do it for Factorio. So this guy needs one iron gear wheel every 5 seconds. An iron gear wheel takes 2 iron plate and it takes half a second to cast. So that means, and you'll just have to trust me here if you can't figure it out, that for every assembly building, creating every... Start from the beginning. So this takes 5 seconds and it takes in 1, and this produces 1 every half a second, which means for every 10 buildings making science pack 1s, we only need 1 building making iron gear wheels, because it produces them 10 times as slow, so we only need 1 assembler on iron gear wheels for every 10 of these. We're not going to have 10 buildings producing science pack 1s to start with, because that's probably overkill. We're going to have 5. 5 is like a nice ratio, because if you go in here, you can see this takes 5 seconds. This takes 6 seconds for science pack 2s. So if you have 5 building this, you're basically building 1 per second, sort of. These assemblers are actually slower than a second. They're like half a second crafting speed, 0.5. So they take half the time, or twice the time that this takes. It takes like 10 seconds to build 1 science pack 1, but it's all relative. So later on we'll get massively awesome assembly machines and we won't have to worry about it. So what we're going to do here is actually we're going to pull this back, because I did this wrong. We want a split belt going down to the science packs, which we want copper on one side and iron on the other. And we're going to leave a little bit of a gap here between the main bus and these belts, because we need space. I don't know what we're going to need this space for, but there will be pipes, there will be other things. It's Bob's Mods, things go crazy. So we're going to leave a bit of space there. So what we do now is we have this guy and this guy, and this guy is going to be that. We do need to sort of straighten this out later on, this belt, to make sure that if this guy starts stealing all the iron, that all the other belts sort of come back. We can do that now, actually. So what I like to do, and what I've seen other people do, is just do this. So that means that if this line starts stealing all the iron and there's none left on this line, these guys sort of shoo it back on and spread it around. It's not exact, but it's close enough. And now I'd love a fast inserter here, but we don't have a lot of options. So what we are going to do, though, is we're going to have 2 inserters putting it in and 1 inserter taking it out. Because you've got to remember, for Mr. Iron Gear Wheels, they take in 2 iron and they produce 1 iron gear wheel every half a second. So feeding in iron from 2 different inserters, it kind of makes sense. So there's our long inserters. We should keep researching stuff. Electronics, it's ugly, but I need it, so I'm going to research it. And, oh man, we're going to need power. We are going to need to drag this power line all the way down. And, yeah. So let's just go ahead and do that. There's no point building the rest right now, because it needs power. We could do it, but yeah, we're just going to drag the power lines down right now and get all of this stuff put together. So there we are. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, this is... I really made this too long, but yeah, it gives us a lot of open space for future expansion, and we can do something crazy like building a train station over here, feeding all the ore in, having a huge smelting array. Although, to be honest, I'll probably smelt on site, smelt where the actual ores are, but if we need crazy stuff, yeah, I definitely overbuilt this. I'm just going to keep saying that because it is definitely true, but... oh man, maybe I will change this later on, but maybe I won't. It's all good. It is all good. So, let's go ahead and go down here and start feeding these guys down. The good bit about having these belts going down is once you have everything you need, you kind of don't need to go back to the smelting area unless you really want to expand it. So let's move these guys down. Let's get some belts. So we need 10 inserters. Sorry, let's get some inserters. And let's get some poles. Go away. Down the bottom. On both sides. And let's get another belt here. So what we can do is we can actually have these guys producing the red science. And later on, we can have more assemblers on the other side producing the green science, and we'll have a belt with both red and green science on it. So kind of a shared thing, because you really need to put the science, you really need to split the science over belts sort of deal, because if you just have this belt full of red science, it's a waste, because eventually we're going to need 8 different types of science, and the most advanced recipes going all the way down here to bloody rocket silo, which is like the end game, it still needs red science. So you don't get to stop using red science at the end of the game. You have to keep using it all the way through. So now we're going to go over here. We're going to build some more belts and go over here and just sort of get this stuff going on. And come on. Just build a nice little science area over to the side here. We don't want to get too close to this tin over on the side of the map right there, because I am going to do a smelting area right here, I think, because just why not? So let's build this guy up there. Now we need, let's build 10 labs. I need more iron gear wheels. Luckily, we have a supply here, so just pressing the F key to grab some off the belt. And there we go. We got a lot of these guys coming in very, very nicely. And we will need some inserters for them as well. More iron. Come on, guys. We might need a chest down here to sort of drop iron off so I can just grab it whenever I need it. But for now, let's actually start moving these wires over here. Get that over there. That over there, and we'll start to space them a little bit closer here, just so we got complete coverage for all of the labs. And we will need it on the other side. In the future, there will be better power poles. Actually, you know what? What am I doing? We will actually space this out a little bit more. So what we can do is when we have more types of science, we can have a separate belt coming down the middle, and we can have inserters picking up a little bit further, like the long-handed inserters and stuff like that. And actually, when we get really big inserters, the inserters that can stretch a really long way, we can even have 4 belts in the middle, and labs on both sides can still pick up from them, but we can't do that at the moment. I'm not going to have inserters that can pick red science from over there and put it into a lab over there. That's just not this early in the game. We can't do that. Okay, those labs are taking forever, so we are going to instead go back over here and start planning our tin mine, because why not? Maybe I should build some radars. If I build radars, then we can do all sorts of cool stuff with actually going out, zooming out, jumping into the map here and actually messing with stuff long range, which would be awesome. So let's go and have a look here. So we're going to build basic tin mine here. And this is kind of a temporary setup, I guess. We'll build the other half of it, but I probably will make it full length eventually. This guy's going to need coal. That's lead over there. Coal is over there. Coal is over there. You know what? We're not using this tin ore. After all, we're going to build a tin smelter back where all the other guys are, because that is where the coal is, and there's no coal over here, so it's not the greatest idea. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. So let's cancel these ones here. In vanilla, this is not so much of a problem, because in vanilla, things tend to get built a little bit quicker, but is these basic circuit boards, like if we have a look here, You've got to build the wood, and then you've got to build the wooden board, and then you've got to build this basic circuit board, which is a whole second, whereas everything else is half a second. And it takes like twice as long to build a basic circuit board in Bob's Mods as it does for in the normal game, which is kind of bad in the early game, especially if you're running a YouTube channel and trying to make the experience sound fairly exciting, because it's just not. Now, we cancelled those labs. We don't need power poles. We do need radars, actually. Radars would be a good idea. Electronics are finished. Great. Now we just have to make the damn things. Electronics assembly machine. That's good, actually. You can see that the normal assemblers, as I said before, they got a crafting speed of 0.5. This has a crafting speed of 1, so twice as fast, but you can only use it for electronics components. And that is a lifesaver, an absolute lifesaver for doing all of the electronic stuff. So that is good, is really, really good. So we don't need those. We are going to make 5 of these long-handed inserters to dump in the labs over the other side, and we might as well make 5 labs here. I'm cringing at the thought of making the damn things, but you know what? We really should be making stuff here. You know what? I said we were going to make stuff like transport belts, and I haven't done it, and I really should be. All right, cancel that again. We need the belts. We absolutely need the belts, and we need to get this stuff going. When I go back to fix tin, then I'll start doing the labs on the way. But for now, I just want to be crafting stuff. Maybe I should be pre-crafting. That would not be a bad idea. Okay. The unfortunate thing is, this guy needs bloody basic circuit boards. This guy, the inserter, needs basic circuit boards. So it's very hard for me to auto-craft those early game. There's not a lot I can craft early game until I get those. So, electronics assembly machine is done. Long inserters allows the range to be configured. It's nice. Steel. Where's steel furnaces? I really, really want my steel furnaces, but you kind of need steel for them. There we go. Steel furnaces. Beautiful, beautiful, but they need green signs, so that's just pain as well. It's all pain. Everything is just pain. Come on, give me these inserters. Oh, we need power as well. I'm making this game look like such an amount of pain, and to be honest, I'm going to blame Bob's Mods for a lot of it because, well, it's Bob's Mods' fault, and so that's fair enough. But yeah, it is pretty slow at the start of the game. So let's just go ahead, and while I'm idling, I'm going to make freaking crap loads of these guys. You are going to make transport belts. You are going to make iron gears for the transport belts. And what do you need? You need 1 and 1. So we kind of want another assembly here to balance the ratios out. And that should be good. It's actually going to slow down because we're making 2 transport belts every half a second, and we've only got 1 inserter. So what we can do, actually, cancel that chest. Oh god, we need another inserter to do this properly. So cancel all these, get the other inserter. At least when you cancel things halfway through, you still get to keep the components that were being half built, sort of deal. So what we're going to do... No, I need another one. I'm frigging losing my mind here. Alright. I need a 3rd inserter. So what we're going to do is going to put a power pole over here, and then we're going to put that there, and we've got... need another iron chest. Maybe I don't need a 3rd inserter. I was going to have them... Yeah, you know what? Let's just do that. So we take away that chest. This guy drops it on the ground, and the other guy picks it up. So in that way, you've actually got 2 inserters jumping out of this and putting them both in the same iron chest. I could put another chest here to have double the amount, but I really shouldn't need that many transport belts. And so anyway, let's not forget to put a radar down here so I can come back to this base whenever I need and grab transport belts from out of that chest. Because I can do that long range now, so that'll be awesome. Research. We gotta keep the research going. I don't really know what to do, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn off everything except red science, and we're just going to enable it. So it's going to build me some turrets right now. Turrets, yeah, as I said, no enemies, but it's all good at the moment. So let's have a bit of a walkie over here, and there's nothing being built over there that we really need for building tin. So we're just going to run back and do some stuff. Stone walls now. Yeah, I don't really need those. Oh man, I don't know what I was thinking there, but it's all good. It's all good. Let's grab some iron and let's grab some copper as well, just because. Military, that's going to give me a submachine gun, which is not bad because submachine guns shoot faster, so you can get chests and stuff like that, destroying things. So what's the best way to do this? We got tin here, we got tin here, we got a little bit of tin there, and we got a little bit of lead there. And where's our other lead? It's over there and over there. We are all over the shop at the moment, so what I'm going to do is we're going to reserve 4 smelting locations for these guys. So I'm going to do that with our trusty blueprint. These are blueprints from all my other games. Very, very awesome stuff, but not all that relevant for early game or Bob's mods or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to, so that's iron, iron, iron. You know what? Because of the way the bus is working, where we've got these guys on the top, we're actually going to put them down the bottom because that just makes a bit more sense. So, copper, 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 and then we're going to have 2 for tin, and not sure if we're going to have 1 or 2 for lead, but well, let's just make it 1 for lead at the moment, and we can put another one down there if we need it. So let's get this stupid rock out of the way. When I get bots, they can destroy this rock in like a quarter of a half of a second. So let's copper, 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 to copper, tin. We need another tin, and we need another lead. So bots will also auto build this stuff as well. Oh, water pump jacks. I don't know what that crap is about. So this is tin. This is my first tin one. So let's go ahead. 32 minutes and 55 seconds. That's a long episode. All right, we're going to give it a little pause here. I'm going to finish building this, and I'm going to finish building the lead and hook them up, because you all know how that goes. I don't think there's anything special. We're going to grab this, and we're going to grab lead from somewhere, and we're going to start shoving it down there, and we're going to get these guys hooked up over to the main base. It's just pain, so I'm not going to put you through that. But anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next episode. Stay tuned.